Welcome! I'm here in my 2021 KZ Escape E17 hatch, and in this video I'm going to be changing out the Suburban propane heater thermostat for this Emerson 70 series digital model. So if you find this video helpful and you want to purchase one of these, I'll put a link to it in the description, and if you use that link, it helps me out a little bit and doesn't cost you anything extra. So I may put some links below to some other thermostats that would serve the same purpose in case you can't find this one. So this probably also pertains to many other campers and RVs that use this thermostat. So this thermostat's pretty terrible. Down here you have a thermometer. It's not easy to read. And then here you have a switch. When you push this, it clicks on and it has cooler and warmer. So you click it to some arbitrary position and you wait for it to heat up. And if it's too hot, you turn it down. If it's too cold, you turn it up. And then later you may have to turn it off. And then if you get cold again, you have to start all over. It's a really terrible, outdated design. So it'll be so much nicer having a digital thermostat. I can find a temperature I like and just set it to that temperature. And I can just adjust it up or down. And then later you can shut it off and turn it back on and it will stay at that set point. So this upgrade should work with thermostats that have two wires like this. It has a red and a white. Now this doesn't have a fan mode on it. It doesn't have the wiring for a fan mode. You can just turn it on or off. So let's take a look at the new thermostat, and we'll say the power is currently on. I am going to shut it off before I swap this. So let's pull this out. So here's the new thermostat. We have up, down, and we have on or off. Here we have mounting screws, and it even came with some batteries. And here we have instructions for wiring this up. And this is the most basic thermostat you can get, really. Like, here's a diagram. This must be a programmable model. This doesn't have all that. This is going to be much simpler. So let's pop this open. Well, there's a durability test. So there's a little opening in here where we can pop it open. Now this does take two AAA batteries. Hence the batteries there. And that's pretty common for thermostats like this. So this is the mounting plate. We're going to replace the thermostat with this. So we're going to take off the current backing plate and we'll install this backing plate. So it does have these slotted holes for the screws. So that gives you a little bit of leeway in how you install this so you can get it nice and level. So I'm going to read through the instructions, figure out exactly how to hook this up. I don't know that I'm going to show all of it because I will have to have the lights off, but I'll give the details to hopefully help people doing this themselves. I do want to say that I'm not an expert at this. I'm just sharing my experience. So you want to read through the instructions on your own to understand it. Okay, so I read through the instructions. I more or less knew what I was doing, but I wanted to just double check everything. So it says for two-wire heat-only systems, connect the RH and W. So here we have RH and W, and that's going to coincide with R and W here. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is remove this from the wall. I could remove these wires, but I don't want them to fall back through. So I'll remove this from the wall, then I'll remove the wires and make sure I have them secured so they don't fall. Okay, so I have this pulled out, and you can see the wire here is coming down from the top, it looks like, and it doesn't look like it's going to get dropped down into the wall. So now I can remove the two wires. Okay, so I have the old thermostat off. I'm going to take the new mounting plate. I'll put the wires over here, and then I'll mark the hole locations on the wall. I'm going to drill some holes and then put the screws in, and I'll have the wires coming out the middle here. Okay, so I have it mounted up. Now this paneling is super thin, so these screws don't have a whole lot to bite into. If these ever come loose, I'll probably glue a little block of wood on the backside and re-drill holes and screw into that. But for now, I think it's going to be sturdy enough. So next I'm going to hook up the red wire to RH and the white wire to W. You can see these are already bent from the previous thermostat, so I want to put the direction of this in the direction the screw turns. So when I'm tightening this, I'll tighten it clockwise. So I'm going to put this on in this orientation, like so. Okay, so I have those wired up. Now at this point, I can turn on the electricity. As long as I don't short those two terminals out, I should be fine. So I'm going to turn the electricity back on so I have a little more light to work with. Okay, so now we're ready to put the batteries in here. So I'll just clip those in. So this is powered up now. So now I can clip this on the wall. There we go. So I think this is the current temperature here, 61. So let's turn this on. And it looks like our set point is 62. So if I press up or down, okay, that kicked on. Let's turn it down. Okay. So I set the set point below the current temperature. So it should kick off here. So here I have the old thermostat next to the new one. If we look down the side, the new one is just ever so slightly shallower. It might be about the same in the middle, it's hard to say. It's a little bit taller. It's most definitely larger. I think it looks more modern. Of course, the other one was dark and this one is light. Okay, so that kicked off. So our set point is currently set to 60. Let's turn this off, okay? Now let's turn it back on. and there our set point's still at 60. So the nice thing about this now is you can turn the heater on, and when it gets up to temp, if it's still too hot, you can turn it down a degree, but you can tune it, and then you have that set point stored in the thermostat. So next time you go to turn the heater on, it will remember that temperature, and you may tweak it up or down a degree from your favored set point, but you're not going to have the wide swings like with the old analog one. Here, it's like, what is this set to? Who knows? Next time you turn it on, maybe about there. Next time here. This is much more precise. So you will need to change the batteries out on this every once in a while. You could do it every season, but I would just carry a spare with you. Now, if you have an emergency situation, you can pull this off the wall and short the wires out to start the heater. You could also keep this in your camper and hook it back up. For my purposes, I'm just going to carry extra batteries for it. So that's upgrading the thermostat on this 2021 KZ Escape E17 hatch. If you're relatively handy, this is not a difficult job to do. This is how it should have come from the factory. With this one simple upgrade, you're going to take your frustrating heater system to something that's modern and easy to use. So that's all I'm going to cover in this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you like this video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate if you could do that. And thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.